I listened to The Rest Is Football,
Okay.
but only the United bit.
Mm.
It's really annoying.
Yeah.
It's worth it because you get to hear Alan Shearer swear,
Right.
and that's like hearing a teacher swear.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he never swears on the BBC.
Mm.
But it's really annoying. Micah's really annoying,
Yeah.
and he's fine. He's more acceptable, more palatable in a TV studio.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is like him when he's dotted about with his mates, and he's just
Really annoying.
really annoying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although Thierry Henry rang him during the episode, that was
yeah.
quite exciting.
Mm.
But they didn't speak. He just said, "I'll call you back."
Alright.
But he did he held up a picture of. There was Thierry Henry on FaceTime, and he held it up, and then they all went, Thierry Henry, and then he went, "I'll call you back." It's like, I don't know. I know we're in a difficult position slagging off other people's podcasts, especially people who understand and have far greater knowledge of football than we could ever dream of having.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they're necessarily you want to hear them talk about it.
But millions of people do want to hear
I
them
know.
talk about it.
But it's like, I don't know, they appeal to too many people to be interesting.
Yeah.
To actually have, like
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, like they're not. And all football content is about this. Is like this, really.
Mm.
But also, if 20 million people listen every week, then you're probably too broad, I think.
Yeah.
That we're a long way off that level. We're probably too niche at the moment. I think we could get
I
there.
think part of that is, access. A lot of people haven't listened. It's not like the same amount of people have heard both, and we're too niche, so not enough people stick around.
Yeah.
They're very broad.
I'd like to think that if 20 million and 24 people listened to both podcasts, the split would fall somewhere kinder than it is currently.
Yeah.
Not to give away how many people listen to our latest episode, but I did say how many people listen to theirs. So,
Yeah.
but it's sort of lowest common denominator stuff.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not for me. But the weekend after, the Monday after a big win, all football content is for me.
Yeah,
I would
I
watch
agree.
anybody talk about football when we've had a good win.
Yeah. I find the Sky Sports studio stuff after a game not very interesting, but I've watched it today. Cause
Why not?
Yeah, they're talking about United winning a big game. So I want to hear people talk about that, even if I don't like the people or find them interesting.
Yeah. I dipped my toe into the cesspit that is Arsenal Fan TV.
It's less of a cesspit than it used to be, which makes it less entertaining.
I know, yeah. I lamented the loss of such great figures as we had in the past, but, for their benefit, people often say that they courted sort of toxicity. And Arsenal have come through that period, and the Arsenal Fan TV has similarly probably emerged out of this banter era.
Yeah.
In a way that United hope to come out of, and maybe they will drag along some of their bigger content creators into being, because you can't just be dead stupid all the time when you're quite good. It's much easier to be stupid and wind people up about a mediocre United team than an actually good United team, because people just don't engage when we're actually good.
And with AFTV, they were accused of wanting Arsenal to do badly because they would get more views, but whether they want them to or not, Arsenal are doing quite well, so they're not. There's no use currently them tailoring for opposition fans laughing at them because they don't get many opportunities to.
No, but this would have been one of them. I think they could have gone back to some of their old hitters. And, but circumstance means they can't always do that. But it's definitely a habit of mine on a Monday after a big win. A habit that I haven't exercised many times.
No, it's nice. It's like this is how it should feel. And I don't obviously the topic of not getting carried away will come up, I'm sure, later in the episode. But this is how it should feel supporting Manchester United.
Yeah. This is how, and you're not entitled to feel like this, but certain, there is an expectation that United are quite good, and when it's baked into your fan base, it's much more painful not doing it.
Yeah. When you're just used to it, it's more of a shock to the system. But it's nice. It's a bit of a shock to the system. These last two games was being really good.
Yeah.
And beating two great sides.
it's a welcome surprise.
Hello, welcome back to Red Army Reaction.
Hello.
The mood has not calmed down at all. We're in grave danger of getting carried away with ourselves after another brilliant result, great performance.
Yeah.
And I could get used to this, really.
Yeah. 2 wins have come in 2 good games as well.
Yeah.
Like, there may come a point where we don't have a really enjoyable game to watch that we win.
Yeah.
But while it carries on, it's not like, you can win games and they not be really enjoyable to watch. And you just enjoy them on the basis that you have won.
Yeah.
But that hasn't been true of either of these wins. They've been really fun.
Yeah.
And we've won them both.
I think everyone, apart from City and Arsenal fans, everyone who watched those games really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Especially that game yesterday. It was quite old-fashioned, I think, a bit of a throwback game.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad we won it. Obviously, we've had a few. Bournemouth at home was one of them, I suppose, where everyone agrees it was what a game, great advert for the game. And if we didn't win, I don't care.
Yeah,
I would much rather a terrible game we won than a brilliant game that we don't win.
Yeah.
So it's obviously the best case scenario is a brilliant game that you win.
Yeah, I think there's been a growing sort of resentment towards Arsenal and sort of modern football in general. And I really think that this was a game of, and it's not really the role that United are born to play.
No.
But this felt like sort of a win for football.
Yeah.
Like if that game had been, there were so many things in that game that could have gone a different way that would have been like typifying the dreadful state of the Premier League at the moment.
Yeah.
If Arsenal get a point after an own goal and a goal 3 millimeters over the line from a corner, if they disallow the Dorgu goal for a handball that's the most incidental glancing touch, if anything, and it's an absolute world beater.
Yeah.
So many of those things that
if those had both happened, so if they disallowed the Dorgu goal and then Arsenal won 2-1 because of that goal, that would have been depressing, and everyone would have just been so bitter about Arsenal. Like you'll probably win the league now, but
and quite similar to the Garnacho offside game where it was like, oh right, I guess Arsenal have done enough to win, and it probably was offside, so I guess we don't deserve to win. But it
doesn't feel good.
Whereas yesterday was, everything went the way that any rational football fan would have wanted it to go.
Yeah, and the fact that we scored 2 brilliant goals from outside the box.
Our best 2 goals of the season, do you think?
Very possibly.
Probably our best 2 long ranges.
Yeah. From people just hitting it.
Yeah.
And which is something Arsenal don't do.
No.
You could argue Arsenal don't have players who want to do that. I mean, Eze would be the most likely, but he hasn't scored any goals from long range for quite a while for Arsenal.
No.
And they just don't play in that way. And we've only started playing that way for 2 games, but it's really good to watch. And it's such a win. The fact that we won is such a brilliant advert for the real football coming back against Arsenal, who are trying to destroy football as we know it.
And you say we're not getting carried away with ourselves. But
I don't know if I am saying that.
Getting carried away is really fun.
Yeah.
It's the point of being a fan of something is that when it goes a bit well, you start to dream of what could happen.
Yeah. People say it's the hope that kills you, but really, the hope is what you need. The hope is the best bit.
The hope's why you're there.
Yeah.
Because if it was easy to, if you could have the enjoyment of football, but you didn't hope that you'd win.
Yeah.
Then what?
You didn't look forward to winning the next one,
Yeah. I think if I was an Arsenal fan, you could look at this game and say, fair enough, they turned up, they're in good form, they scored 2 great goals. We couldn't really have done anything about what, I think the concern for Arsenal fans and the concern that they might deny, or the team might deny, is that their tactics of scoring goals against, they scored a goal from a set piece, they scored a goal from a decent ball into the box, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And they didn't, at no point in that whole game, with all their attacking talent, throwing players on, made a quadruple substitution.
Yeah.
They didn't create a great chance for a player. They had their header from Zubimendi.
Yeah, set piece.
From a set piece.
Saka of created a chance for himself that was
a shot.
Sort of from a corner.
Yeah.
He just sort of created a little bit of space and had a shot that was just about creeping in at the bottom corner.
That's once.
Yeah, and that's barely a chance created. That's someone just deciding, I could shoot from here.
Yeah, even the goal from a corner wasn't a great chance created from a corner.
No,
it was just chaos. And if you have enough chaos in the box, sometimes it'll go in.
We just create basically a rugby line out where just every single player is on the line. We might score. So the ball might go in the net if all our players stand in front of all their players.
16 times a season, it'll probably go in the net. They didn't carve out a great chance for any of their amazing attacking players.
No, or Jokeres.
Yeah, when we were not as much as we were against City, but they had plenty of the ball, they had plenty of impetus. They really needed to win. When you play, a lot of teams would rather play earlier on a weekend. So that pressure isn't there. But when you play it later on a weekend and City have already won,
and Aston Villa won,
you know what you need to do, and they knew they couldn't really afford not to win that game.
Yeah,
and they couldn't come up with anything.
Yeah.
It may well be that Carrick is a genius and Steve Holland is a genius, and we are, we've conceded.
And we would beat anyone.
Yeah, we've conceded 0.3 XG from open play against City and Arsenal. If you look at our defensive record before that, the number of chances and the quality of chances we were conceding.
Yeah.
But I think Arsenal have got a real problem. That's the problem for Arsenal. Not that they conceded 2 amazing goals and they didn't win this game.
Yeah.
The real problem for Arsenal is, I don't know if you saw the graphic Sky had of... it was a slightly disingenuous graphic because they picked a different stat for like 6 different players, all of which were the worst stats. So
right.
Saka hasn't scored in 11 league games. Jokeres hasn't got a non-penalty goal in 13 games in all competitions.
Right.
Martinelli's not got a Premier League goal in 10 games. Who else have they got? Madueke's not got a Premier League goal in like 20 league games or something. Their forwards aren't scoring goals.
Yeah.
And they may well win the league, but I would be a lot more inclined to say they will win the league if they had somebody who was scoring at reliable rate.
Yeah. They're like literally none of their players are. And has there ever been? Maybe there has, and I've just not bothered to think about it yet. Has there ever been a Premier League winning side, like a good one, that didn't have a reliable goal scorer?
I think the lowest on record is City, where Gundogan got 13.
Right.
But they had like 6 players get over 10 goals that season.
Yeah.
They've not.
Arsenal haven't got
a single player on over 6 goals, I don't think.
Right.
So that might be... they've not got a player on 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And they've got 15 league games left or something. So I think they probably will still win the league. But I don't think will win the league. I think Arsenal will still win the league. But based on their last 3 games, I wouldn't.
They could
very easily let it go. They have to improve again.
Yeah.
And if they do, then they will deserve to win the league. And it's, teams can go through rough patches, but they need to pull their finger out.
Put their ideas up. Yeah, there's been times in the last couple of seasons, obviously Arsenal finished second for 3 seasons in a row now. Some of those teams have been much better to watch than this one.
Yeah.
They've sacrificed things to make this team more effective, more resilient at the back in order to win the league.
Yeah.
And if they've still finished second, having changed all that, then it must be you just must wonder, what do we do now?
Yeah. And you think it's a personality trait of Arteta's, right? It's sort of regressed into himself and sort of cannibalized himself to, I can see the temptation to want, maybe you think we're really good. We didn't win the league this year. If we carry on playing like this, eventually we'll win the league.
Yeah.
And I can see why 2 or 3 years ago that didn't necessarily look like it was ever going to happen. Yeah. And you could think maybe if we stay this good and keep playing this well, we still might not win the league.
Yeah. What can we change?
We need to optimize and find as many little niches as we can where we can carve out chances.
Yeah.
And they've sort of become this, a very effective machine with very little enjoyment for the people who are forced to watch them.
And then we've seen teams sort of like this win the league before, like Chelsea. 2 of Chelsea's 3 league titles under Mourinho, and the third one a bit, were defensive sides who kept a lot of clean sheets, won a lot of games 1-0. and it's probably partly the social media era.
Yeah.
And I was only 5 when Chelsea won their first Premier League title, but I don't think they were as dull as this Arsenal side.
No,
or
and
as anti-football.
there was the 1-0 to the Arsenal chant.
Yeah,
born
yeah.
out of the
it was that
Invincibles era.
No, I think it was pre-Invincibles. I think it was George Graham that.
Okay, but it was very popular during that era because
Yeah.
of their ability to win games by not conceding any goals, and it's a way to win games. But like you say, you have to get some enjoyment from the journey, and maybe you can have one season like this where you give it all up just to win the league. But like you say, you have to win the league.
Yeah. It's like when Chelsea did it sort of 2015, I think. A lot of when Arsenal played them, the whole Arsenal away end was singing "Boring, boring Chelsea."
Yeah,
which then Chelsea started singing themselves because you'd rather be boring and win the league. And the Arsenal fans started to say that, like, well, it's not boring to win the league. It's not boring to win every week.
No,
I'd rather we were boring. Arsenal at that time were far from boring, but they didn't win anything. So there is a balance there, and they probably needed to go a little bit in that direction, but they didn't need to sap all creativity out of the side.
Yeah, and there are mitigating circumstances. They're missing Havertz, and Gyökeres is awful, so that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Gabi Jesus has never been an amazing number 9. He's a good footballer, but he's never been an amazing number 9.
Yeah.
So there are mitigating circumstances. They're not creating chances for anybody in particular.
No.
But there's not really anybody there who it's worth creating chances for. But that being said,
that's their fault.
That is their
fault. That
Gyökeres
Gyökeres isn't good.
Yeah, a lot of other teams sort of sniffed around Gyökeres and then went for other options for a while, and it's they've made their decisions as they have to try and win the league this season. If they don't win the league this season, they're going to look like it was a huge waste of time.
Yeah.
The only thing that will justify how boring they are is winning the league.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about Arsenal. We haven't really talked about
it's
United.
quite funny. I enjoy criticising Arsenal, and there's not been much opportunity because when they are winning, they beat Everton 1-0 penalty. You can say, "Oh, that's really boring." No, they didn't create anything in the game, but they won the game. They're top of the league, and they beat Fulham 1-0. I think with a goal from a corner.
Yeah.
But while they are keep winning and still look like they're going to win the league, it's harder to say that.
Yeah.
But now we've beaten them, it's much easier.
We can chat to them. Yeah.
I don't want City to win the league.
No.
Period. Like, I don't enjoy City winning the league. City have won the league far too much for my liking. But I'm coming to the point where how hilarious it would be if Arsenal didn't win the league again. Maybe that outweighs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it later. They're probably the only two that can win the league. I don't think many people think Villa can do it.
No.
But that would be an amazing story if it did happen. But yeah, there's sort of a inevitability around City winning the league. Where
they're sort of numb to it a little bit, but Arsenal would.
Well, that numbness will fade as City climb in the rankings of number of trophies they've won.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're still a ways off us, but it's.
And they might have a few taken off. You never know.
We never know.
We will never know, seemingly.
Yeah. But for now, I don't really care if City win the league. It would be annoying if City played quite badly for most of the season and still won the league.
Yeah.
But everyone's been quite bad this season.
Yeah. Whoever wins the league will have been bad at times this season.
Yeah.
Like, if Aston Villa do win it, then a team who didn't score for the first 4 games will win the league.
Yeah. I mean, it's borne out. I looked at the table earlier, the form table. How many wins do you think in total the top 6 have in their last 5 games?
I know it's not many. So that's 30 games.
30 games.
For the top 6. We're in there and we've got 2.
Yeah.
Arsenal have 1 or 2. I'll go for 10.
It's 9.
Wow.
So that they're the 6 best teams.
Yeah.
They've got 9 wins
a third
between
of their games.
Like, I think, and during that time, Chelsea and United have sacked their managers.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the teams up there are still bad enough to sack their managers.
Yeah.
The teams in the European places.
Yeah. We spoke about how we thought United might be being held back by Ruben Amorim and were called deluded for it. But We probably need to get over that. We've had a grand total of 4 comments ever, so that one is, we're going to come back to that one. But I think there is an opportunity in this league. No one's very good, so we didn't have to get that much better to be one of the best sides in the league.
Yeah, we've beaten a side who's not lost at home all season, not conceded 3 goals for a ridiculous amount of time.
Yeah, what is it, 3 seasons worth of games, maybe?
Yeah.
120 odd games.
We could, let's talk about United a bit. Yeah,
about United. I think first 20 minutes was a little passive from United.
Yeah.
We didn't really touch the ball, I don't think.
It seemed like the plan was don't do anything stupid, keep it tight for 20 minutes, which is, a tale as old as time. It's not revolutionary tactics to just sit tight and...
No, big away game like that,
and, let the game settle.
Yeah. And then we started to grow into it a little bit. And then 5 minutes after we started to go into it, we conceded a stupid goal.
Yeah.
Really frustrating.
Yeah, and it sort of came out of nowhere, really. Arsenal, for all their dominance, is probably too complimentary.
All their possession.
Yeah, they didn't create a wealth of chances. They had the Zubimendi header, and then the game started to settle down, and we started to come into it, and then it was just a sort of ball over the top. Dorgu didn't really clear it, and then a fortunate deflection.
Yeah, I think it's fortunate, also, but it's also poor from Martinez.
Yeah,
he's got to be clearing his line there, and Timber just sort of has hold of him. He has hold of Timber. In that position, it's much more advantageous for Timber to keep him there than it is for him to keep Timber there. You've just got to... You're not going to give away a penalty. Just shove him and put the ball away. Like, you don't need to sort of... He showed him a bit too much respect, I think.
Yeah.
So it was unlucky that it hit him exactly on the foot and went straight past the keeper, but he was in the wrong place and he wasn't defending actively enough.
Yeah. A ball like that, it was just sort of hopeful ball into the box. It always can happen. But probably could have... It wasn't ideal from us. And then they flashed up a stat on Sky saying Arsenal had scored the first goal in 24 games this season and won all 24. And you start to think... And I'd seen a couple of people saying, previewing the game, if we can get the first goal, I think we've got a real chance. But if Arsenal take the lead, it'll be really difficult.
And you could really see the way the game would progress. You could see us growing into the game, but Arsenal, with all their defensive acumen...
just holding on.
And that lasted about 30 seconds before they gave us a gilt-edged chance. There was a couple of warning signs for them.
It was bizarre. It's what Arsenal don't do. They took the lead and didn't know how to deal with it. They just completely went to pieces as soon as they took the lead.
Yeah. I mean, the first one was like a pretty gentle ball into Fernandes. Fernandes drops off and Saliba comes with him. And then there's a huge gap and he plays Mbemo in behind.
Yeah.
It's not revolutionary play. It's not genius. I don't know why. Surely they've played enough games together. They're up there with Vidic and Ferdinand and Terry and Carvalho for the number of clean sheets they've kept as a duo.
Yeah.
You would think that sort of situation would have arisen, but they got completely flabbergasted by it.
Yeah.
Then they were about 35 yards between them. Fernandes plays the ball into space, and Mbemo could really have got a shot away himself.
Yeah.
Sets up Fernandes, and Fernandes snatches at the shot. But they've just seemed so panicky.
Yeah, and then we had another one. It was a poor back pass that Bruno got onto.
There wasn't a back pass. It was a through ball that they were letting run to the keeper.
Yeah.
They didn't know that Fernandes had snuck in.
Yeah, which is just not completely uncharacteristic.
Yeah. These aren't unusual scenarios to find yourself in as a Premier League back four, but they got wrong-footed massively by them. Yeah. And it was their first choice centre-back pairing and first choice keeper.
And then obviously the worst one of the lot was Zubimendi. There wasn't a lot either of the centre-backs could have done about it. Well, not from the immediate, not after it. They couldn't really have done anything. It went straight to Mbemo, through on goal. No matter who's in defence, you would back him to score there.
Yeah. But Saliba's pass put Zubimendi under pressure.
Yeah.
He didn't help him out there.
And they just seemed not like themselves. You've seen that happen with so many teams who don't know how to play the ball out from the back. Yeah. And they get pressed and they don't know how to do with it and they panic. Yeah. But it's not Arsenal normally.
It's not. Do you think it was nerves, a mentality thing? Nerves from the stadium?
I don't know. It's probably easy to say that, but while they've still not won the league, there will be somewhat in the back of their minds, given that they've come second 3 times, and all of the talk about them is if they don't win the league, it will be Arsenal who stop them from doing it. It won't be any other team.
Yeah.
They are their own worst enemy, and they've been criticised for going too early and over-celebrating in previous seasons when it looks like they might win the league. And they've not proved that they know how to win the league, so it is possible that they get nervous. And Arsenal, City and Villa had both won. It's a big game at home. It's a chance to make a statement, to re-establish your credentials, to beat United, who everyone was raving about last week.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it.
I think you get 1-0 up, and I don't know if it's something that's said to them beforehand, or I think one thing people have praised Carrick for is the messaging and the sort of confidence he's instilled in the players. So much of that comes from the manager. If the manager's there saying, right, City have won, Villa have won, we get 1-0 up here, we have to win. We can't. It will bleed into the players and into their decision making, and they looked a different team once that happened.
Yeah,
and then from then on out, it was a pretty even game. I think from then, neither team was able to get a huge amount of possession after then.
Yeah, and create loads of chances.
Yeah, I think we didn't counter them. We weren't playing defensively and countering them. We were building slowly, and we had
less of the ball than that.
It ebbed and flowed from then on, I think. And with some moments of genuine world-class quality.
Yeah, it was only 5 minutes into the second half. We were really happy with 1-1 at half-time, I think.
Yeah.
It's fair to say, having gone behind. 1-1 felt better than 0-0 because we'd proven that we were in the game. And we were capable of doing things. So I don't think many expected us to then go that early in the second half and take the lead.
No, I think that Arsenal looked a little shell-shocked, I think, coming out after half-time.
You expect them to have a rocket up them and to not let that happen again, that sort of nerves and the complacency.
But some lovely interplay. People spoke a little disparagingly about the training videos and stuff that came out, as they were doing the rondo, where they pass the ball in really small spaces and build these connections between the players. But we've seen it bear fruit in both games. It was really useful when we were winning against City. We were able to keep the ball in these small spaces, and both of the goals in the second half came after passages of intricate play with these players who are very good at it. That's Copy Madu's bread and butter, is these little 1-2s and little intricate passes. And what can we say about the goals? Two of the best goals I've seen. Certainly two of the best goals we've scored at the Emirates for a very long time.
Yeah. It's the Dorgu goal is on its own. It's an unbelievable hit.
Yeah,
the outside of the foot from there, in off the bar. Any goal on the bounce in off the bar, is an amazing goal. But the fact that we had the nice little link up beforehand as well, it didn't just sit up nicely for him. It was a great move. Yeah. It's just
Zubimendi looked a bit stupid again because 4 passes went within about a yard of him, and he just sort of looked a bit dazed. And then, what a strike! It was. He's coming for a bit of criticism, Dorgu.
Rightly so at times.
Yeah. But if you ever want a lesson in what a change of coach can do for an individual player, he looks like a new man. He's confidence in him.
He looked like a new man when we played Newcastle at home and he played further up the pitch.
Yeah.
And he scored a great goal in that game.
Yeah.
And then we suddenly went back to back 5 and he looked bad again.
Yeah, it's so much about what you're asking a player to do.
Yeah, and then Burnley under Fletcher looked quite good, got an assist. It was a better cross than I'd seen him put in ever under Amorim. So it's sort of, we signed him as a wing back, but when you sign a wing back, there are wing backs who are full backs converted into wing backs and wingers, and it seemed like he was a full back converted into a wing back.
Yeah,
and he didn't seem like a very good one. And now all of a sudden he seems like a different player.
Yeah, and it's a credit to the transfer strategy, I think, as prioritising sort of flexible players who aren't position specialists, which maybe hindered Amorim in the short term, as if they'd got someone who'd played 150 games at left wing back, who, if they'd signed a player from Sporting who he'd coached, or someone who was really drilled in that position, then maybe they would have been able to get into that position and do a better job of it. But if Amorim goes, as was always likely for the whole time he was here, you've now got a player who another coach can come in and see something different in and say, well, he's a athlete, he's a willing runner, he presses really well, and he's got good technique when confident and when playing in the right positions.
Yeah.
And he looks like a different player now.
Yeah, and he was the one when Amorim got sacked. There was the idea that we weren't in a position like we had been with previous managers, where we'd signed so many players specific to the way they wanted to play, players that a future manager probably wouldn't want.
Yeah.
It seemed like, well, we've not done that this time. Any manager in the Premier League would want Mbeumo and Cunha. It seemed like maybe Dorgu is the one who might suffer because he was signed to play wing-back in this system. But it seems like, no, that was pretty good as well. He works in other systems.
Yeah, he's translated really well. And I can't really rank the two goals because Dorgu's is definitely better. But the impact of Cunha's, after getting pegged back to 2-2, I was so gutted.
Yeah,
it would have been so annoying to not
goal.
win that game.
Yeah, even though it wasn't like we were all over them and they smashed and grabbed and snuck a win. Like, it was an even game, really, but just based on the goals. If we'd have then even gone on to lose it, for Dorgu's goal to not be in a win or to be in a loss, would have been absolutely gutting. And it just didn't seem to faze us.
No.
The fact that Carrick was still making attacking changes, when Dorgu picked up an injury, was it 2-1 at that point?
It was, yeah.
And he brought Sesko on for Dorgu.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Amorim doing that.
No, I mean, like the temptation to bring Mazraoui on must have been there.
Yeah,
when you're winning away at Arsenal with 15 minutes to go. Yeah. It must have been there. But if you do concede a corner with 10 minutes to go, we were very glad to have that impetus still on the pitch. And it sends a message to the players as well. It's not just because Sesko, he was involved in the goal. He won the ball from the header, but he didn't. It wasn't him who won us the game. Quality on the pitch didn't win us the game. But the message from the coach was, we're not sitting back on 2-1.
We're going to win the game.
We're going to keep fighting in this game. We've conceded. Doesn't matter. The impetus
we're not changing anything we were trying to do. We were still trying to score when it was 2-1. So
and the anticipation of it as well. When he runs through, everyone in the world is thinking he's going to hit this.
Yeah, because that's the kind of player he is. Yeah,
I really hope it works because it's going to be so frustrating if he hits it. It's dreadful, and he hit it so sweetly.
Yeah,
and I think Raya's conceded the highest percentage of goals from long shots of any keeper.
Right.
Something like, and Arsenal don't concede many goals.
Yeah.
And they don't concede many good chances. So
it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
More of the goals they concede.
25% of his goals or something have come from outside the box. But that is a weakness of his game, and he's not got the longest arms in the world. And if you look at where Cunha puts that ball, it's right where it needs to be. He's not aiming for right in the bottom corner because he's playing the percentage game where he's wrapping his foot around it, making sure it's on target, wraps around the defender, and if it's in that side of the goal, it's got a very good chance of going in. And it was such a good moment. It was amazing.
And Cunha has not hit the ground running as much as Mbeumo. I think he's endeared a lot of United fans to him, but he's not. He's got about half the goals Mbeumo has.
Yeah,
and he's not started these last two games. It might be a difficult decision in the next game whether to start him or not, because that was undoubtedly his best moment at United. That would be a lot of players' best moment at United. A late winner away at Arsenal with an unbelievable goal as well. But he is a universally liked player in terms of the way he plays. Some people might not like his temperament, but I think that suits United. And people said this from the day he signed, he's undoubtedly a Manchester United player. Yeah. And to be able to do that just reinforces that.
There's a little bit of reticence of people saying he's done well at Wolves because he's a big fish in a small pond. Yeah. And then he comes to United, he's going to be another good player at United.
Yeah.
But he's so versatile. We saw him on the right wing, get the assist against City, coming off the bench. And, real doggedness, scrapping, winning fouls, and seeing that game out, and a real bit of quality to get that ball in.
Yeah, doing what the game needed him to do.
Yeah, and then that was we were winning, and that was a goal to cement the win at that point. It's a different mentality to pick the ball up in that space when, everyone thought we could win that game.
Yeah.
But we weren't losing.
Yeah, and we could have lost the game. At 2-2, Arsenal could have gone on to win that game.
Yeah, it takes a special mentality to think, no, I am going to take this and shoot because I think I'll score.
Yeah.
And that's what you want in a player. We saw so many times from Arsenal players getting into those positions and turning back, or not that sort of position, but players getting into positions where they think, what's the right thing to do here?
Yeah.
And then they're thinking, they're making those decisions with view to their whole season and with view to what the manager's reaction is going to be at the end of the game. And sometimes a player picks the ball up and they just got to hit it.
Yeah.
And that's what Dorgu did. That's what Cunha did.
Yeah.
And you don't want them doing it every week. But
no, there have been times previously where I've been frustrated by Cunha for not passing the ball and for shooting. But, when he does that, I do think, fair enough. I won't tell you off next time because it's worth it for those goals, those moments.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And a deserved win.
Yeah,
again,
absolutely.
We've won these games. Managers have come in and won games like this before, and we've gone to the Etihad or played City at Old Trafford and gone to the Emirates and rode our luck.
Made 30 saves.
And rode our luck and come away with a win and thought...
It's still a deserved win.
It is, but
it makes you feel different about the team.
Yeah, and it says it's more sustainable to be able to go and play in a way that limits the opposition as much as we have in the last two games.
Yeah,
that's the real. Obviously, I'm not going to say the real thing that I enjoyed about the last two games is how much we limited the opposition, because I really like it when Dorgu smashed it into the top
You
corner.
would have enjoyed it. However, we won. If we won both of those games, you would be.
Yeah,
you would have enjoyed them, whatever style that was in.
My favourite moment was the late winner with a screamer, not the fact that Lamans has made 2 saves in 2 games. But in terms of the sort of the Monday analysis of the game, that's a real high point for me, is to go to both of these games and concede perhaps 1.5 good chances.
Yeah,
is something that was unfathomable.
Even games to go and take the game to them, and
even games that we won under the previous manager and the manager before him were big games that we won came at because the opposition didn't take their chances.
Yeah. And generally, even the best teams have to ride their luck at times in big games. And, I'm sure there's a lot of sort of Champions League finals and stuff where you look at the other team and say if they'd have scored that chance, then they would have won it. But then history is kind to the team that did win it.
But sometimes you want to turn up and not ride your luck.
Yeah, you can't ride your luck every time.
Yeah, play in a way that means that you maximise your chances of winning, and if you do that often enough, you will get these wins. It's very fortunate for Carrick that he's come in his first 2 games, but he deserves the credit for setting us up in the right way.
And it's not fortunate to play City and Arsenal in your first 2 games.
No.
That's quite unfortunate, really.
Yeah, I think, if Cunha hits the post with that shot and it finishes 2-2, I don't think anyone's... No, obviously, it doesn't mean Carrick's done a worse job.
Yeah. No one's opinion of Carrick should really be that different.
Yeah. But winning both these games is a function of how we've set up and how we've approached them and the messaging that's been going into the players before these games. And we've played well enough to win both games. And I think Carrick... you can play well enough to win and not win, is what I'm saying. But it's good for Carrick that we have won.
Yeah, very gratifying.
It's a dreadful point.
It's a good point. Yeah,
it's good that we won.
I'm glad we played well and won.
Roy Keane said after the game that even if Carrick gets Champions League, we need a bigger and better manager. We can't be wooed by an interim period as we have been in the past.
Yeah.
What do you make of it? What do you think is the...
I don't think it should just be a question of if he gets Champions League, should we give him the job? It's more nuanced than that.
Yeah,
I don't think you can answer that question. Some people are saying, yes, absolutely. If he gets in the Champions League, we should give him the job. And some people like Roy Keane saying, no, regardless of whether he gets in the Champions League or not, we shouldn't give him the job. But there's more factors than just whether we get in the Champions League. If we don't get in the Champions League I don't think he should get the job.
Yeah, I think everyone would agree on that, I think.
But I think there is a world in which he should get the job. It's not just based on whether we get in the top 4. So far, he's ticked more boxes than the fact that we've won both games.
Yeah,
absolutely. He couldn't have done a better job. He couldn't have done better for his credentials of getting a permanent job.
Yeah, and like you say, there's a world in which he wins both of these games, where we're sat here thinking he hasn't really shown that he could manage for the long term, which isn't the case.
Yeah. So those 2 games have been as good. Like, no manager in the world realistically could have done better in those 2 games. If we appointed Luis Enrique to the end of the season, he wouldn't have won 5-0 in both games.
No, I don't think
the best he could have done would be to play well and win in both of them.
Yeah.
So if this continues and Carrick, I don't expect him to win every game, but if we look like a title winning side, we're not going to win the title. Well, we'll get to that.
Most likely. Yeah.
But even if we win, 90% of our games, play really well in a lot of them, and look like a team that is naturally progressing towards challenging for the league, why would we interrupt what he's doing?
Yeah.
There's also factors of which managers are available. But if Carrick's doing really well and it's, do we appoint Oliver Glasner or Michael Carrick, then I would absolutely endorse Carrick at that point, because I feel excited about the prospect of Michael Carrick managing United.
Yeah.
And there is something to be said about the fact it gets overused, the whole knows the club thing, but United are a huge club and difficult to handle, and someone who has been through that already has an edge over people who haven't. Even if they have other advantages over him, that is still credentials for the job.
Yeah, and I think it could well be that even if it's not knows the club because he played at United, if he'd played for Real Madrid instead of United, that would also be a thing on his CV as, well, he can clearly handle himself in high-pressure situations and with media scrutiny because he played for one of the biggest clubs in the world. It happens that the biggest club in the world he played for was Manchester United. But, he could have... Those skills are... It's not... we're not talking about...
They're transferable.
He's not a player who played for Manchester United in a period where, the fact that he played for Manchester United means several things are true, and those things are true, and they're good things. He can handle pressure situations. He can handle the media. That's why he was a success at United, and that
will help him be a
success to him being a manager. I think my mentality has shifted slightly from where it was when he got the job, which was when he got the job, I was waiting for him to prove he could be the United manager. I think I'm now.
No,
waiting.
He has.
I think I'm waiting for him to prove he can't be the United manager. I think it might happen. It might happen next week. We might see a game where we think that's the evidence you need to disqualify him from being United manager. But a broken clock can be right twice a day. It could well be that he's got one way of playing. It works very well against big teams where they have the ball, and he becomes completely unstuck in other games. Or it could be that we go into every game and the quality of our players tells, and we make some, Lamans makes some good saves, and Maguire had some clearances out, and Bruno Fernandes scores some great goals, and we win more than we lose, and we win a decent number of our games. And then I think you can evaluate at the end of the season and say where you've got to predict where the ceiling is for Carrick as a United manager.
Yeah,
it's obviously I don't think the City and Arsenal games tell us much about, because there's 5-6 big games a season.
Yeah,
maybe 12 out of 38 big games. The other 24, the other 26,
are more important.
There's a lot more of them. That's where we'll have to see. What has impressed me is I don't think we approach these games exactly the same. We didn't come out and, and that's due to the opposition. And, until we have a bigger body of evidence, we won't know what tweaks were made to the system and what different instructions were given to players, whether it's a coincidence that it's worked twice or it's a repeatable skill.
Yeah.
Like I said about long shots, it could be that Dorgu and Cunha will have loads of long shots every week, and we'll play.
Won't go in every week.
Yeah, if we play against Emi Martinez, who's very good at saving long shots, we'll come on. They won't work. Or it could be that they've looked at the data and said, we're not going to get a load of great chances in the box. If you feel like having a pop, their keeper's not the best at them, have a go.
Yeah, and in a different game,
we would try something differently. That's where the ceiling of this team becomes clear, is the principles that they've had in these games won't work in every game, and they will work they did have worked, and that they've been really good games so far. But if they can come up with different solutions to win different games in different ways, that's how you win. That's how a United team wins.
Yeah,
I think.
But there's also the thing of, we've obviously put a lot of work into stopping what City and Arsenal want to do.
Yeah.
And they're the best two teams in the league. So you need to think a lot about what they're going to do and how to mitigate that, as well as creating your own chances.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like Thomas Frank at Spurs and spend the whole time, whoever you're playing, worrying about what they're going to do and not what you can do. Like for Fulham at home, I would want us to an extent to focus on ourselves and play our own game. And in the with the idea of we'll be able to beat Fulham comfortably without, we don't have to give them too much respect as a side.
No.
And I think as a United man, that's what you want from a United side. You don't want us. I know the Premier League has grown and every club has a certain way of playing that you have to think about, but in certain games, United should be able to not worry about the opposition and just
absolutely
go and do our thing.
I think that was the damning thing for Amorim, was there were games where even 12, 11, 13 months into his tenure, I'm thinking mainly of the Everton game. The Everton game could not have been set up better it could have been like a training exercise.
Yeah.
Here's the defence. Show us the best version of your team. It doesn't matter what, the opposition aren't going to try and do anything. Because they're winning 1-0 away. They've got 10 men. They've got nothing. They're not going to try anything in this game.
Yeah, because why would they?
Why would they? You've got 60 minutes. Show us the best version of your team, with no consideration for the opposition, because the opposition don't exist in this game.
They might as well have 10 drones, you know.
Yeah, and we saw nothing. We saw nothing to hang your hat on.
Yeah.
You know.
And when Ollie's side were in a similar situation with Southampton, we beat them 9-0.
Yeah, and Ollie's sides had their issues with teams that didn't want the ball, and they struggled against low blocks, and that's something that will be, at the moment, can be levelled against Carrick, is maybe he will struggle against low blocks, and maybe he'll come unstuck against them. But you do want to come out of that Fulham game thinking we should have a better idea of what Carrick United could look like.
It's not, and this is a game we didn't win, but it's not Wolves at home. It's not one of the very bottom of the barrel teams at home, because then you might not be able to take much from that either.
Yeah,
Fulham are, capable of hurting us. We didn't beat them away from home, so it is a good level, I think, for the next test for Carrick to say, well, this is a team we're expected to beat.
Yeah,
but they will be a challenge still. So what can you do now?
Yeah, I think
if we do win the game and play well, then there's a lot you can take from that still.
Yeah, I think the interim thing is one, that people come to with a lot of prejudice about interims, as it's a waste of time. Roy Keane said, make someone available, get the next bloke in now. Why are you wasting time with someone?
Yeah,
but they did that with Amorim. He did a little longer than Carrick will do, but not much longer in terms of in his first season. I mean, leading up to that first season, no one would have. I think a lot of people had enough evidence at the end of Amorim's first season to write him off. No one was like, "Oh, well, he's only done 8 months." I mean, obviously, people were like, "He's only done 8 months," and teams can improve after that first period. And obviously, he had that. His vision was seen as, well, this is the initial pain for long-term gain, but it's not like he's doing 3 games, Carrick. He's doing 17 games.
Yeah,
I think we'll have plenty of evidence at the end of the season to decide and make an informed decision.
Yeah,
there are obviously factors that are different when you're the regular manager than the interim. The pressure's not really there on United at the moment.
Yeah,
I think we're trying to finish 4th with probably the 3rd or 4th best team. It's not a huge mountain ahead of him. He didn't take over when we were in 11th, and we have to basically be flawless for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So there will be unknowns still and unknowables at the end of the season.
But it's up to the powers that be to assess how he's done and whether that is transferable to giving him a permanent job, hopefully playing in Europe as well, and with a longer term vision in mind.
But there are unknowns with every manager. Like you say, Glasner, yes, we know he can manage a full season in the Premier League and he can manage in multiple competitions. Not particularly well, but they've got a much smaller squad. But there are different unknowns. Can he manage, doing 25 interviews a week with 100 different journalists? And can he manage, playing in front of 75,000 people, not 25,000 people?
And 75,000 people who expect you to win.
Expect you to win almost
the majority of the game,
and play a specific way and do and act in a certain way. There are unknowns with every manager.
There isn't currently an outstanding candidate. I'm not saying at this point I'm endorsing Carrick for the job.
No.
But there isn't. I haven't endorsed anyone.
Yeah.
I haven't. There isn't someone who I say that's who we should get right now.
So
by the end of the season, Carrick may well be the person.
He's got plenty of opportunity to prove himself that other managers haven't got. And he can quell a lot of doubts, not all of them, but he can get to a position where there's a growing confidence in him. And, maybe he's not the guy to dominate the Premier League for 10 years. But the way the Premier League is at the moment, I think there's a chance that a manager who is pretty good and has a decent defensive coach, and we keep signing quite good players, I think that there is a chance a manager like that can win the league.
That we don't need a manager who has these meticulous tactical ideas.
Yeah.
Because United have never had that and won the league.
Yeah.
United have had managers who, I can only really talk about Ferguson.
Yeah.
He had coaches who took a lot of the training and what's the word? Instilled the tactics and everything, and he made the big decisions.
Yeah.
And Carrick is less like that because that's just the way the game's changed. But maybe as a club, we don't need someone like a Guardiola or a Arteta.
Yeah.
We need someone like Ancelotti.
Yeah.
Would be an example. And I'm not comparing Michael Carrick to Ancelotti.
No.
But maybe it could work. We've tried. You look at you might say his CV isn't good enough. All he's done is do all right at Middlesbrough. But we signed the manager with the best CV in the world, Jose Mourinho, who'd won Champions League with Porto, won the treble with Inter,
won the Premier League within 5 years of getting the United job.
Yeah, he won the Premier League 3 times. Won the Premier League in his first 2 seasons. The record-breaking defence. You don't get better CVs than that. I don't know if Luis Enrique's CV is better than that.
Yeah.
Winning the treble with Barcelona, with Messi, Suarez and Neymar up front, and with PSG last season. I don't know if that's a better CV than what we got with Mourinho. So it's always possible that whoever you appoint, they do badly. Whatever criticism you can say about Michael Carrick, he's never done this or he's never done that. We've probably appointed a manager who had done that, and he's not done very well.
Yeah.
So I'm certainly not at the point where I say whatever happens, Carrick shouldn't get the job. Because, he might do well enough that he is the leading candidate.
Yeah, and there's, that's sort of the financial power of Man United means that we can almost guarantee, especially with the squad cost ratio rules coming in, and with a seemingly decent negotiating team and decent transfer strategy team, we can probably guarantee having one of the best 4 teams in the league.
Yeah, we should absolutely be able to
guarantee that. I think we've got definitely a top 6 team in the league squad wise. I think by the end of the summer we'd be hoping to be, in the conversation as one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah,
a manager who can, if you look at Aston Villa, it doesn't take a huge leap of logic to say that, and Unai Emery, great manager.
Yeah, he's done a very good job at
Aston Villa. A team that's worse than ours, I think. It doesn't take a huge leap to see that someone like Unai Emery could win the league. I don't think. If he was in the conversation with this Arsenal this season, I don't think he's going to do it in the end because of the squad they've got and the competitions they're in. But it's not a huge. It's disingenuous to say a manager like that cannot win the league. A manager who is defensively sound and platforms their players well and instills an impetus into the players and has good attackers on the pitch.
Yeah. Plays players in the right positions.
Can win the league. I think they absolutely can win the league. I think some people think that every manager who's won the league had never won the league before. You don't win the
league until you do.
Yeah, when they hired when they hired Guardiola, he never played in the Premier League. It might not have worked. It did work. When they hired Conte, he never managed in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And it worked. And
Spurs appointed him and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Like, it could always go either way.
It can easily happen. I would say, there isn't a great case of a manager coming from the Championship and winning the Premier League.
No.
But there's a lot of other factors to take into account. And
there is a case of a manager coming from the Championship and winning the German league.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not the worst proving ground. It's a tough league. I think there's more to be said for coming from the Championship than there is to be said from coming from a lot of
Norwegian
teams
league
in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
Or a team at the top of the Championship when he was fighting for the playoffs. There's a lot of transferable skills there.
Our last two managers were from the Portuguese league and the Dutch league. Some would argue
won plenty of leagues.
Yeah, some would argue the Championship is a better quality league than them two.
Yeah, I don't think that's unreasonable. So, like we say, we're not endorsing Carrick for the job. I'm waiting. You've got to wait for more evidence.
Yeah, so he's currently your favoured candidate, would you say?
My favourite candidate will always be the person who currently has the job.
But it wasn't when it was Amorim.
It was for a very long time. Took to the last few weeks for me to
we always wanted Amorim to turn it around and do it. And appointing another manager could always go wrong.
Yeah.
So the best case scenario is Carrick does really well, gets the job, and is the right man for it.
That's what I think. If you asked United fans what you think will happen with Carrick or what you want the club to do because of your opinion of Carrick, if you just ask them what is your dream that would happen, I think it is Carrick wins the Premier League as Man United manager. It was my dream that Ollie won the Premier League as Man United manager. Yeah. It was my dream that Ryan Giggs won the Premier League as Man United manager when he took over. There is a definite, a certain romance to it that will always be alluring. And while it's a reasonable possibility, I will always I will always put my chips on that.
Yeah, and there's plenty of people for whom that's not true. But I think for us, we always back the manager. We always want them to do well.
Yeah.
There might come a point where we don't think they're right for the job, and they probably should lose their job. But that's not what we would rather happen.
Yeah, I would have.
You might think right now the team should sack the manager, but I would rather the team didn't sack the manager and they started doing really well.
Yeah. There's a clip that's gone round a few times on my Twitter. So there's a YouTube channel called Muppeteers, which is somewhat controversial because they went fully in on Ruben Amorim. They were fully behind Ruben Amorim. And when I was fully behind Ruben Amorim, I was a big fan of their content. I watched it quite a lot, and
you agreed with what they said.
Yeah, I liked the way they talked about the game, and then I sort of soured on Amorim, and sort of drifted away from their content. And I think right up until the very end, they didn't waver at all. And there's a video of about a month before he got sacked, where the Muppeteers guy is saying, Amorim's going to be here till the end of the season, and there are people who are afraid that Amorim will do well because they've made it their whole thing that Amorim's awful and he should get sacked. And they're afraid that he'll do well. And obviously he's being clowned for it because he didn't do well. And you look like an idiot for saying it because it was obviously not going to happen.
Yeah.
And then when Amorim got sacked, he had one video where he was really frustrated that they'd sacked Amorim. And then they hired Carrick, and he's Carrick's the United manager. I think he's going to be amazing. I can't wait for it to see what he does.
Yeah.
And fair play to him.
Maybe that's just what he does.
Whoever the Man United manager is, I am going to throw my weight behind them fully until the day they stop being the United manager. And it's quite admirable, I think. Yeah. And I do think there are people, and it will be true of Carrick now, that there are people who are United fans, who would rather be right that he's bad than be wrong if he's good.
Yeah.
Because they'd rather be right than us be good,
Yeah.
basically. And it's more important to them that their opinion is vindicated than they get proved wrong and we win the league.
Yeah.
And I could never imagine being a fan in that way.
No.
And as it, we've been proved wrong about many things as fans.
Absolutely. We all sang, every single one of us will stand by David Moyes.
Yeah.
And what Fergie said, your job is to stand by your new manager. And we did, and it didn't work.
And there are some fans online who would have you believe that, when we got to 12 months of Amorim in the job, they said, if you think at Real Madrid, he'd still be in the job, or at Inter Milan, he'd still be in the job, they'd be throwing horses' heads onto the pitch to get him sacked. Yeah. Because they hold their club to higher standards. They're better fans than we are. And I don't subscribe to that view at all. I will stand... Maybe Old Trafford is soft on managers, and maybe they're too easy to get on side.
I think Liverpool have a very similar thing, that the institution of Liverpool manager is who you respect, and he's the guy,
Yeah,
and you back him.
And we don't have a lot of exposure to match-going Liverpool fans. We have exposure to the clowns on the internet. And if you judge United fans by the clowns on the internet, you'd have a very different opinion to them.
Unless it's us.
Yeah.
We're the two latest clowns on the internet.
But I think I would always be of the view that you're the United manager, I will chant your name and clap you off until the day you stop being the United manager. And be it Carrick, the best thing he has in his favour, if we got to the end of the season and Carrick hadn't been this interim, I don't think he would be on anyone's list to get the permanent job. Yeah. But Carrick's got the ultimate tick in his corner, which is he is doing the job.
Yeah. And he's doing it well so far. And you look at previous managers, Amorim said the bad times are coming, the storm is coming, and we have to weather it. And then he said, I can now say that the good times are coming. And I was all in,
Yeah.
And Ten Hag, when we took us to the FA Cup final after a disappointing season, I think we lost the last game, maybe drew it, and he said, we'll do whatever we can to bring the FA Cup home for you.
Yeah.
And he did. And then we can't sack him now. He probably deserves to be sacked, but having watched that game, we can't. He is the guy, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
And you might think that would change at some point. You would stop buying in, but
yeah, and we're fully signed up again. We've just spent 20 minutes talking about Carrick winning the league.
What would be the point otherwise of becoming rational about it?
I know.
I never want to get to that point. I'm always happy to believe that this time is different.
It's like you say, it's the hope that kills you, but the hope's the point.
Yeah. People just delude themselves into thinking it'll work for them, but maybe it'll work for us. Yeah. So I am ready to get hurt again.
Nice.
And if we look, you sent me a thing earlier of the fixtures for United, Arsenal, and City for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And obviously, this is with a view of how can I justify the scenario in which United win the league. I'll have to bring it up because this results in United winning the league by 1 point, I think.
So our maximum points total for the end of the season is 83. That's if with another 15 wins.
Right.
I think, like you say, there's a reasonable expectation that we will drop some points, I think.
Yeah, this has us losing to Newcastle away and drawing with Everton away.
Yeah.
And beating every other single team.
That includes
Liverpool at home, Trafford. Chelsea away. And they might be the games that we do win, but then there's a lot of games at home that we've not won previously. You look at Brentford at home, Leeds at home, Spurs at home. We're capable of not winning those games.
Easily, yeah. But
we are also capable of winning them.
This is Michael Carrick's United, which we don't know how he's going to play in those games.
So for now, we can believe that we'll get to
high
this.
70s.
This says 78 points.
Yeah.
The problem then is for Arsenal to only get 76 points, they have to not beat Brentford, Everton, Bournemouth, Fulham, and Burnley.
Oh, there's tough games in there. I mean, not beating Burnley is not something that many people have done. But
we've managed it.
Yeah,
and Liverpool have managed it, to be fair.
Yeah.
And they have to lose away at City, which is very possible. Lose at home to Newcastle. They don't lose at home very often, or they didn't.
And Newcastle aren't very good at the moment.
Yeah, especially away from home. So I think if I might be able to... delude myself easier into thinking United will get those results. I don't think Arsenal will get those results, even though it's come after us beating Arsenal.
And Arsenal they win 1 in 5. Arsenal,
has
or 2 in 5.
Has Arsenal's mask slipped, and people will now realise that they are beatable. You can score 3 goals against them. Maybe you just need to shoot.
It's going to be a wild ride, and
this also involves City they're overtaking Arsenal but finishing below us by 1 point.
That is funnier.
That would be very funny.
Arsenal finishing 3rd would be really good.
And the City one, I can believe more easily as well. They have to draw it away to West Ham, which is possible.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I can't delude myself into this one. They have to draw at home with Brentford, draw away at Everton, and draw away at Liverpool. They're all possible. Drawing away at West Ham, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Losing to Newcastle at home,
yeah.
I don't know.
This has got Newcastle beating all 3 of us.
Yeah, that's true. These are interchangeable, so you could say, well, I don't think they'll draw away to West Ham, but they could draw away at Leeds, or away at Bournemouth. They're tougher places to go.
My main issue is if this happens, Villa will win the league.
Their fixtures aren't on it.
Villa will get 75 points and win the league.
Yeah.
Or they 80 points and win the league.
Arsenal finished 4.
That is what would reasonably happen. But like you say, we're here to be deluded. We're here to
If Arsenal and City's results fall off that much, it probably won't be us who benefit from that. But you never know.
You never know.
He's won all his games so far.
It's in the grey area. That's where dreams are made.
Yeah. And it's nice to be able to not quite dream that we're going to win the league this season, but to not know how good United can be.
Yeah.
Like to dream of how good we might be. It's nice. That's how it should feel as a United fan.
Before the City game, Dad and Andrew went through the next 10 games and couldn't think of where the points would come from.
Yeah.
And now I think you're looking at the next 6 after these 2.
Can't think where the
4. If we got 4 wins and a draw, I'd be a little disappointed.
Yeah. If we go through the immediate fixtures, it's Fulham and Spurs at home.
Yeah.
Then Everton and West Ham away.
Yes.
Then Palace at home.
Yeah. I think if you've got any designs on being a top 4 team, you should
be beating Fulham and Spurs at home
easily.
Absolutely.
You should. Palace away, Palace at home. Palace at home. Palace are pretty much in free fall.
Yeah. The thing that might happen is Spurs and Palace might have new managers by the time we play them.
Yeah, maybe they'll swap.
Yeah, they could do actually. Yeah, that would work actually. Yeah, that could very well happen. Gosner would be absolutely in line for the Spurs job.
Yeah, he'd be
on the list, especially if we don't want him.
Yeah.
And Palace could do a lot worse than Thomas Frank. Yeah. So maybe that'll happen, but we should be beating Spurs, even if they get a new manager. It's not going to be Xavi or Zinedine Zidane.
They already got a new manager at the start of the season and didn't get notably worse.
Yeah. So we should be beating Spurs and Fulham at home, and then Everton away.
It's a reasonably tough place to go. But it's not the Bernabeu. We should, again, if you've got any designs on being a good side in this league, Everton are a side you beat.
Away. Yeah, but then Villa will be kicking themselves that they had the opportunity. They had Everton at home, and now Arsenal have dropped more points.
Yeah,
and they've just lost to Everton at home last week, and they would be within touching distance of top of the league in end of January. So it's Everton away is one of the tougher ones in this run. West Ham away. West Ham have picked up a few more points, but we should be beating them. Really, we want to be in the Champions League. We should be beating a team that are relegation threatened. Yeah,
and this is the sort of we're fighting against it now, but the sort of erosion of standards that's happened under the previous coach.
Yeah,
like I think any Man United manager, any Man United fan should absolutely look at those 6 games and see.
Well, wins all
we should win 6 of those. That's what we should be doing. That's where we should be aiming for.
Yeah, Newcastle away is somewhere we've not done very well for the last couple of years.
Yeah,
took us apart away and at home last season. How did we do at home against Newcastle this season? Oh, we won 1-0, yeah. But they played well and played probably better than us. So that's a game we might struggle in, but if it's a winnable game still.
Yeah.
Lots of teams have gone there and won. Aston Villa have just gone there and won, so we can do it.
Yeah, it's going to be really annoying when the hopes of winning 5 games in a row are dashed on the rocks of another Spurs draw.
Yeah.
It's going to kill us. But
absolutely, yeah.
We've, like you say, yeah, it's a much better place to be looking at the fixtures and thinking, where might we not win?
Yeah, yeah.
Rather than where the hell are we going to pick up any points?
And obviously this could completely come unstuck on Sunday against Fulham.
We lose 4 in a row now.
Yeah.
Then we'll look mighty silly.
But we might as well try and believe after those 2 games. If you can't delude yourself into thinking we can beat anyone now, when will you? Because then, it'll be a lot flatter until the end of the season if we do start losing games. If we lose at home against Fulham and Spurs, the mood will be a lot flatter again. But at least for this week, we might as well try and believe that we are really genuinely really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we have been in the last 2 games. Like I say, no manager coming in for those 2 games could have done better.
No.
So maybe he is a genius. Maybe he is the second coming of Sir Alex Ferguson.
We're here to find out.
Oh yeah, we've certainly picked an interesting season to start this. I think every season at United is interesting, but
yeah, I think last season would have been tough.
Yeah,
we were so
after
rubbish,
another loss,
and we couldn't really justify slagging off the manager yet. So
yeah, my enthusiasm for United. I'm not the most enthusiastic person generally, but my enthusiasm for United went so down last season. And only now has it come back up.
Yeah,
so
Michael Carrick's 12-step recovery program.
Yeah. So, let's see. Long may it continue.
Yes, absolutely.
Is that us?
Any other games that you caught your eye?
Liverpool lost, which is funny, as always.
It is funny.
It was a scrappy goal that they lost to in the last minute. But the first game of the season, Liverpool were 2-0 up, Bournemouth came back to 2-2, and Liverpool went and won it. And I was so annoyed at how jammy that was. So for Liverpool to come back from 2 goals down away at Bournemouth and then to still lose, it feels like karma, Yeah. And I'm glad I can enjoy that after being annoyed at them.
Yeah, it was good. Spurs are, again, pretty lousy.
Spurs are awful.
Yeah, scraped a draw.
Yeah, they were fortunate to get a draw. They're only capable of scoring, similar to what we were saying about Arsenal. Van der Ven and Romero are their second and third top scorers with 4 each in the league.
Yeah.
That doesn't suggest a sustainable way of playing, really.
No, you wouldn't have thought.
They're the least creative side in the league.
Yeah.
They have zero creativity when you watch them, and their fans are really losing their patience if they've got any left with Thomas Frank.
Yeah. A lot of Spurs fans lost patience with Ange as well. But there is something to be said. He stood on that touchline and talked about, and sat in those press conferences and talked about how Spurs were going to be the best team in the world and they were going to win the league. And if someone asked him about finishing the Champions League, and he said, "I'm not aiming for 5th place."
Yeah.
And people clowned on him a lot for that. Called him, for being deluded.
I think you're at the wrong club.
Grandeur. But it's a lot easier for a fan than just feeling like the guy has no right to be managing at this level. And knows it himself. And feels massively overawed. And it's how I think a lot of fans felt about Ruben Amorim when he would talk about this: we're the worst side ever. The use of the word suffering.
We have no right to be any better than this.
Yeah, we have to be this bad, and we have to come to terms with the fact that we're this bad before we can try to get better. It's really saps the life out of you. It's not
what you want to hear. It doesn't inspire you to go, "No, well, yeah, I want to watch his team."
I know, like maybe it's daft to come out and say, and obviously after the results that we were having, it wouldn't have been prescient to come out and say, "I think we're really good" either.
Yeah,
but there are ways of means of explaining these situations that don't involve making all the fans want to kill you or themselves or both.
Yeah. And it's the biggest juxtaposition of that was Louis van Gaal, who said, I think it was his first press conference, he was asked about getting us back in the Champions League, and he says, well, for me, it's always first, not fourth.
Yeah.
That I'm aiming for. And then when you looked at us on the pitch at times, it seemed like we were not aiming to win the league, but it was.
But we love Louis van Gaal.
We do love Louis van Gaal
because of the way he was.
The way he talked was by far his best attribute at United, and he did endear himself to us in his press conferences, if not in his football.
Yeah. We spoke about the difference between managers and coaches quite a bit on this. I think Thomas Frank is probably quite a good coach.
Yeah.
And I think Ange Postecoglou is probably quite a good manager. But coaching-wise, he was lousy, and manager-wise, Frank is not doing the job.
Yeah.
I think the same is probably true of Louis van Gaal and Ruben Amorim. I think Louis van Gaal was a great manager, and those skills were still there when he was at United.
Yeah.
But the coaching side, because the game had moved on so much, wasn't there anymore. And I think Amorim in Portugal, you can be a great coach and win the league and turn up in the Champions League and shock people.
Yeah.
At Manchester United, just being a good coach, when things start to go wrong, you need those managerial skills, and he just didn't have them.
Yeah.
And, some combination of the two, some combination of Ange and Frank might be, maybe that's Oliver Glasner. Maybe that's someone who has the tactical nous and has won things and has impressed off the pitch as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's where Frank's coming unstuck at the moment.
Yeah. I think Mourinho was a great coach and a great manager for a while.
Yeah.
And now I'm not sure he's either. He was his being a good manager lasted longer than him being a good coach.
Yeah, I think he was. When he came to United, I think he was a good manager. I think
I don't know if he was still a good coach.
No, but I think the sort of attitudes of players and stuff and the media moved beyond him as a manager.
Yeah.
And he looked a bit like an old man.
Yeah.
And, so much about being a good manager is communication with the media and with the players and with the fans. And if you're not able to communicate on that level anymore, that's what undid Mourinho.
Yeah. And probably Ollie. I've never really looked at this before. Ollie's probably a good manager, but not a great coach.
Yeah.
But I think for United as well, he was a good United manager, but not.
Yeah. And he had good coaches as
well.
He
did.
He had
Carrick and McKenna.
And
Eric Ramsey.
Eric Ramsey, the new West Brom boss.
Yeah, he's not doing very well.
Yeah. Weird appointment.
Was Mike Phelan a coach, or was he just sort of there?
Maybe.
And he carried on being there even after Ollie got sacked for about 6 months. He just still hung around.
Well, we've got that was in the period of massive hiring expansion that the current ownership are trying to undo.
Yeah, Mike Phelan, who was sporting director at Central Coast Mariners.
Yeah.
When Ollie gave him the job. He also, I remember seeing an interview with him where he took a coaching session at South Trafford College the day before he got the call from Ollie to be his manager.
Yeah. He also owns or works for a company that sells goals.
Oh, like
training goals.
Oh, right.
He would always tweet about them being used in training sessions and stuff.
Yeah.
I always found that funny.
Yeah, it's a bit odd that he managed to come back and work at United again when he clearly had moved on.
Yeah, I wonder. Well, Fergie still had quite a big voice at the club then. I wonder if maybe they said, "Who do you think we should get in?" And he went, "Matt McPhelan did a good job. See if he's available.
Yeah,
he'll help out."
Yeah, I mean, he might have said the same about Steve McLaren when Ten Hag came in.
Yeah. So Fulham next week. We've done a Fulham preview.
Yeah, one of those previews that we do where we don't really talk about the opposition in the slightest. Not named a single Fulham player or the manager.
Yeah, Tom Kearney.
Marco Silva.
Yeah.
There we
go. Fulham, Marco Silva's a good, the sort of modern parlance of platforming players. Marco Silva, if you're Marco Silva's best player, you will be, like, you can do basically whatever you want. And we're seeing that with Harry Wilson at the moment. He's doing everything. And it's working.
Yeah,
He's getting all the goals.
For a long time this season, they weren't really getting great results, but they've sort of turned it around now.
Yeah, and Harry Wilson looks like an amazing player, and he's being allowed to play however he wants. And the rest of the team are there to, help out and allow him to do that. And it's an interesting strategy. When the squad's built in the right way, it can work. And they're having another season where they're absolutely in no danger of going down.
Yeah.
And they'll be happy with that, I think, as a club of their size.
Yeah, probably won't win a cup. Are they in the FA Cup still? I think they are.
I couldn't tell you.
But they probably won't win it.
No,
but I think they'll be all right with that for now. Will Marco Silva still be there next season?
Is he out of contract?
Yeah.
They'll be desperate to keep him, I think.
Yeah, but I think he's obviously Glasner has announced he's leaving Palace.
Yeah.
there doesn't seem to be as much impetus on him to decide. Like, I think there's probably a contract offer on the table, and they're happy for him to take his time before he signs it, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't be pressuring him because you don't want him to get the hump. Yeah, he's an interesting one. He sort of feels like he's had his go at the top and it didn't work. But he was only at Everton, really. He never went above that. He probably is due a go at a bigger job.
Yeah, but I think Carragher said this the other day. The likes of Glasner, Iraola, Silva, the next step for them is Spurs. It's not United.
Yeah, I do think that's the case. Yeah.
So I don't think Silva should be really a candidate for the United job, but he might well be. He might be on the list.
Yeah, we don't want this with this. We're not. This is supposed to be a preview of Fulham that we're playing next week. Not
gone back to United.
Yeah, but he's a decent Premier League manager.
Yeah.
He's probably is due to step up. He might be sitting on his heels and thinking, let someone else have a go at Spurs next.
Yeah.
I don't fancy it. I'm quite happy here living in London, getting paid probably reasonably well, living in a very nice part of the world.
He could probably still live in London if he was the Spurs manager.
That's true. But he might be miserable.
Yeah.
Where he's currently not miserable.
Yeah.
And that's, that goes a long way in life.
Well, yeah, anyway.
Speaking of being not miserable.
Yes.
Long may it continue.
Yeah.
On the Red Army couch.
Yes. Maybe we should get a red sofa.
Yeah, but then your t-shirt won't match.
I could wear a red t-shirt.
You could wear a red t-shirt.
I've got a couple.
It's a bit garish, a red sofa. This is my sofa, so...
Wait, you didn't buy this just for the podcast?
No, we're not on a set.
We've moved this. We are.
Oh yeah, it's a set, but also I use it to watch telly and, quite a lot of the time.
You spend time in the set when we're not recording.
I don't have all the lights and the camera on,
yeah.
But so maybe
you do your own goggle box,
Oh, I could do. Yeah, be weird.
It'll be weird.
I don't really say anything.
Watch the telly on your own. Yeah, I wonder why they don't have anyone on their own on Gogglebox.
Yeah, just flick back to just one man.
Change over for the ad breaks, Yeah. Anyway, what were we saying? Red sofa. Oh yeah, on the sofa we're
having a lovely time.
We are.
And long may it continue.
Yes. Yeah. We'll be back next week. You're going to the game, I believe.
I will be there.
I don't think I will be. So,
I'll take some notes, see if anyone does anything annoying. Gets 2 packets of minstrels or whatever.
Yes. We've got to represent our podcast well.
Yes,
I wonder, this is obviously a long way off, if anyone would ever say something to us at the match.
There's, out of the 75,000 people that go, it's quite a slim percentage.
At most, 20 of them have listened to the podcast.
Yeah. And
it's probably a lot less than
I
20.
can rule out several of the people who listen, as I know that don't go. But we are quite recognisable. We stand out from the crowd, you might say. So I think it's a lower bar than other people might have if they're quite sort of aesthetically neutral.
Looking. Yeah.
Height. Median height people.
Yeah.
But, I think we're still a little way shy of that.
Yeah, I reckon so. But we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, if you do know us, say hi. I mean, if you do recognise us, say hi.
Yeah, if you know us, you'll probably say hi anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we're talking
we need
to.
These outros are becoming more rambling every week.
Yeah.
So,
but only the real diehard fans stick
still
around.
Here,
so,
not just the fair weather fans who just click on it so we get a view, and then they don't actually have to.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are any of those, but
I can talk you through the retention numbers if you want.
Maybe we should ask a question now.
Yeah.
So if anyone comments, we know that they've watched the whole thing.
Let's not bother.
No. Well, I'm not that bothered. We're trying to prove the concept first.
Yeah.
We got to get it right on our end, and then we'll worry about whether people listen.
Yeah, we're trying to be less rambly.
Yeah.
That's good.
So we'll work on that. Thanks everyone for listening. Keep subscribed to the Red Army Reaction YouTube channel.
Yep.
And
follow
make sure you follow
Instagram.
us on socials. Red Army Reaction.
Yep. leave a comment. If you
yeah, leave a comment.
Ask us a question. We'll
drop a
answer
like.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll see you next week. We're not going anywhere. We'll be back to talk comprehensively about the Fulham game that brought us all back down to earth.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, goodbye. Thank you for listening. We'll see you out there.